What's going on, you sweet bees? Welcome back to Bumblebee. Here are the top 10 terrifying sounds you don't want to hear, ever. Plug them. Kicking off our list at number 10, Proxima Centauri. Alright, we'll start this list off out in the cosmos, why not? The closest star to us, of course, other than our own sun, is Proxima Centauri. This star is 4.2 light years away, so whatever is sending this signal, or this message rather, well, I don't think we got it soon enough. One planet that orbits the star out of two is most likely similar to our own. It's rocky in nature, so who knows, maybe these are our cosmic neighbors sending out a few bleeps and bloops to let us know that they're out there. Graduate from the Pennsylvania State University and team member on the initial discovery, Sophia Sheik, they say, quote, "It's pretty expected that every now and then you'll see something weird. But this is interesting because it's something that's weird that we're having to think about the next steps." End quote. Yeah, let's look into this please. Notifications, let's turn them on. Who's out there sending those beeps and boops? Are there aliens? I vote yes. Maybe. I vote maybe. Number 9, underwater TIE fighters. This next sound, this next signal is pretty odd. It's coming from our own planet this time, so. Imagine you're scuba diving, right? You're looking for a nice seashell for the wife, and all of a sudden, you hear this underwater. Yeah, it's hard collecting seashells, again, for the wife, when you hear a TIE fighter flying around below you. What in the world is this? What did we just hear? It definitely had some people stumped for a while when it was first heard, but luckily, this one has a fairly simple and maybe harmless explanation. The Star Wars sound that you just heard is actually coming from dwarf minke whales. Many strange ocean noises end up either being attributed to whales or icebergs. One of the two Goliaths that you don't want to bump into. And considering how creepy the sounds can be when they have no explanation, I'm kind of glad to know that most things end up being relatively harmless and way less scary in reality. Number 8, Saturn Signal. Alright, this one comes from Thanos' home planet. Titan is one of Saturn's many moons. Saturn has 82 moons in total. So if you were a werewolf and you lived on Saturn, you'd be exhausted. Around 10 years ago, NASA's Cassini spacecraft detected water in its shell of ice. Now that's pretty exciting, that's great. To quote a Cassini team member, "The search for water is an important goal in solar system exploration, and now we've spotted another place where it's abundant." End quote. Yeah, we love abundant sea creatures resting on the moon Titan. For sure, that's not an Avengers level threat at all. Yikes. NASA has also detected low frequency radio waves on that same icy moon, and it sounds pretty eerie. To know this is off planet entirely and that there's water involved and there's signals coming from here, it gives me the creeps. I don't know. Are these humans trying to send us messages? Maybe not. I can't see them. It's hard to tell. Number 7, Jupiter's moon. Not to be confused with Jupiter Ascending, that was a terrible film, don't watch that one. The Jupiter moon Ganymede is a bit of a mystery. NASA's Juno spacecraft caught a FM radio signal coming from that giant's moon. This moon has a salty subsurface ocean. In the past, I've mentioned a similar signal that was coming from Saturn, so I don't know. Saturn could be its own thing. Oceans in space, I've seen the Avengers, you know what I mean? What if aliens come to our oceans next? Who's gonna fight them? The boardwalk water jetpack guy? What's he gonna do? We have nothing. We have no tools to combat anything deep in our oceans. We're screwed. Jupiter has 79 moons, so whatever's sending these signals, well, I feel like there's many more coming. It's just a matter of when. Number 6, can't you hear me knocking? This knocking sound here was picked up by an underwater hydrophone, and like many others on this list, we had no idea what we were hearing for a long time. We were absolutely stumped. The ocean is already unexplored and freaky as is, so unexplained signals definitely aren't welcoming, especially signals like this. Before we talk about what that sound is coming from, imagine being in the deep, dark, icy waters and then you hear that sound out of nowhere. What do? Do you panic? Do you just, that's it, I'm gonna die, that's an alien for sure. This is something out of the quarry. What is making that sound? These are haunting waters. But as it turns out, the real source isn't as scary as Megalodon or aliens. This is actually the sound of a species of haddock fish. Yeah, just a loud lunch going on down there, no biggie. These type of haddock are ray-finned fish that can be found in the North Atlantic Ocean. Now the males of the species will produce this pulsating drum sound in order to attract a mate. Like Matthew McConaughey from Wolf of Wall Street, he'll just smack his chest for hours on end. He'll just beatbox under a rock until he's married. How great is that? Outside of the mating season, the same noise can be heard, but this time it's aggressive. This time you want to stay away. When it's not mating season, that sound there, that's for scaring away other fish. Number 5, Russian space signals. Russian astronomers picked up the signal using the Ratan 600 radio telescope. It's a large radio observatory in southwestern Russia, and it was the same idea. The signal was coming from a nearby star, and that's all we know, because that's all we can see. Specifically, star HD 164595. Awesome, that rolls off the tongue. It was roughly 95 light years away from Earth, so a bit further away than the last one. Again, it's far enough where we don't need to worry about what's sending the signal, if anything is sending it for that matter. But again, this star is known to have a planet like ours near its orbit. Number 4. 2007 first radio burst. That's right, back in 2007, scientists Duncan Lorimer and David Narkovec, they both discovered the first FRB, the FFRB? No, I'm lost. The thing is, these flashes of energy, they only last for milliseconds, right? They're galaxies away, and they're very random, and they're that fast, so you can't really predict them and study them. They're 100 times more powerful than the sun, so it was important to these two scientists that further research was done. Which is a pretty good thing, or else this wouldn't get, a video, or nothing would be made, I guess. Thanks, lads. The conclusion was that these bursts, they happen thousands of times a day. Space is unfathomably large. So far, the candidates for sending out these cosmic paparazzi flashes, so far scientists believe they're from neutron stars, or they're from white dwarfs. Otherwise, they're still mysterious and we have no idea who or what is sending them. But either way, we're listening. We're here, you know what I mean? Smash the thumbs up if you can hear us. Hit that like button. Thanks. Number 3, big boom. Turning the calendar back to May 2010 in Pennsylvania, a little more recent, residents were enjoying their day off when, you guessed it, a loud boom, or this big boom really, shook residents. Figuratively and literally, it shook them. Resident Kim Owen reported to the Sun Gazette news outlet that at first she didn't think much about it, but that was until a friend of hers who lives only a few blocks down the street posted on Facebook about the same noise. The post was reaching out to others in the community asking if they too heard this loud boom. So far, the leading theory here, believe it or not, is meteorites crashing into Earth and then burning up. The more plausible scenario is that these booms are caused by high-pressure gases being released from the Earth's surface. Either way, no thanks. Number 2. Slow down. Not to be confused with Slow Ride, that's an absolute banger from the 70s, that's a good time, Guitar Hero classic. Slow Down, that was recorded on May 19th, 1997. Slow Down was picked up in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, just in the middle of absolute nowhere. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration picked it up not once, but several times every year since. This random signal, our best guess as to what the sound is moving ice in Antarctica. But the fascinating part here is that the sound decreases in frequency over time. So it's moving, it's going away, it's shrinking, I don't know. It takes about 7 minutes in total for the sound to end, so we can't include the entire clip or you'd be pretty bored. But here's that same sound 16 times as fast, so you know what we're talking about. Scientists believe that the sound is a massive iceberg scratching against the ocean floor over the course of 7 minutes until it comes to a stop. But the fact that we hear this sound every year, I don't know. Is it the Kraken? Maybe it's the Kraken waking up or going to sleep. Hopefully the latter. And finally, number 1, the hum. This one creeps me out a lot and I had to finish off our list today with it. I think I've heard the hum personally. I think I've actually witnessed this noise IRL. Or maybe it was just Kid Cudi in the distance, I don't know, one of the two. The hum has been heard for decades. We have no idea where the hum is coming from, but our best guess is that it has something to do with our oceans. A resident from Woodland, England spoke out on their experience, saying that this hum would vibrate throughout the entire house. Quote, "We've turned all the electricity off in the house and we can still hear it, so it's not that. And it's not tinnitus, that's a high-pitched sound, and this is very low. If I put my fingers in my ears, it stops, so I know it's not in my head." Yeah, what's going on here? It's heard commonly in Hawaii, Britain, North America. Some have called it the Windsor hum. Windsor, which is insanely close to us right now, hence why I think I've heard it. But I have no idea. I point the microphone to you now for this one, just to finish our list off. Have you ever heard the hum? If so, where were you and how much did it sound like Kid Cudi on a scale of 1 to 10? Reports of the hum go back to New Mexico in 1991, so I feel like it's not going anywhere soon, whatever it is. Those are the top 10 terrifying signals that we still can't explain. I'm still Taylor McWaters, and I'll see you next time on Bumblebee. Bye.